Good evening all. Thank you for your patience. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, if I could please have a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting, March 28th.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments regarding the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I have no updates to tonight's agenda, and I do not have remarks or correspondence to share for the good of the order. Comments from you, Superintendent?
Yes, my only comments this evening is that we've invited some of our fine community here tonight to share with the board ways in which their organizations support Homer schools, meaning programs for kids and for supplies for the adults and all those wonderful things that they do, some of which we know, but most of which we don't. And so earlier in the school year, Amy had talked with me about the potential to have these folks come, and I thought it was a great idea. So we chose this wonderful evening for them to share. So what I would ask, because I don't know if I know everyone that's here, I'll start with Sarah Bowens from our Music Boosters. They're going to share 2-3 minutes about all the great things they do for Homer kids. Then what I would ask is after the person before you is finished, if you would just stand, introduce yourself, what group you represent, and then go into your explanation. So Sarah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for a chance to speak on behalf of the Homer Music Boosters. I'm going to read from our bylaws what the Music Boosters does. It's very brief, but I won't get all the right words if I don't. The objectives of the association shall be to stimulate interest in and appreciation for music, and to develop interest in, provide encouragement for, and give moral and financial support to the activities of the Homer Central School Music Department. So that's what we are commissioned to do, and that's what I think we do. We obviously are a fundraising group to help support these efforts of supporting the music department. So this year, for the first time, we had a jam and jelly fundraiser. We've been trying to come up with something that was unique to the Music Boosters, not the same thing that everyone else was doing, and we were able to find a local business, and so I think that was very successful and well received. We have Cabaret, which many of you are familiar with, that we just had. It's a great event where you get to see students from 4th or 5th grade all the way up through high school and see the different skills that they have and see how they grow through the years, and it's very exciting, and that's a good money raiser for us. We also have a can and bottle trailer that we share with the athletic boosters, which a lot of people I think are aware that it has been, but maybe they don't know where it currently is. If you're looking for it, it's by the maintenance building on Park. But then with those monies, we're able to support the students and teachers of the district from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. Each year, we ask the teachers for a wish list of things that maybe they can't afford in their budget. And so this year, we've spent over $3,200 for instruments, folders, which still haven't arrived yet. It must be a COVID thing. We ordered them 6 months ago. They haven't arrived yet. The intermediate and junior high has exploded with the number of kids involved in music, and so they needed tuba stands to get all the tubas up out of the way, so there's tuba stands that are now there. Microphone for the high school musical. In years past, we've also helped support with scholarships for trips that the high school does, but because of COVID, they haven't yet resumed that. Hopefully they will soon. The Music Boosters has a long-standing practice that students from 7th through 12th grade keep track of the music events that they do, and then that's tallied into a point system, and then each graduating senior receives a check during our Music Booster Banquet. Last year, for the first time, the Music Booster Banquet was free to anyone who wanted to come. We felt that it was very important that people could just come to celebrate their kid and not have to pay to come to celebrate their kid. And we had the largest attendance we've had in years, and even broke even on our money because we said, you know, feel free to make a donation if people did. Our biggest thing, though, is the outdoor concession stand. That is new, that it's just the Music Boosters, not music and athletic boosters together. It's new, and we haven't realized our full potential yet, I don't believe. The Music Boosters was asked in the summer to help be part of the outdoor concession stand. And so that meant the Music Boosters made a second bank account so that all the concession money can be tracked appropriately. Working with Mr. Lisi and working with Mike Dolan, the business teacher, and Doug Van Etten to hopefully get the business students involved, and I think that is part that maybe has not been realized yet. But it's also allowing high school groups, not just athletic groups, but clubs like Youth in Government and different clubs like that to work the concession stand and then get a portion of the profits made that evening. It's got a ways to go to get all the kinks worked out, but we're working on it. I think it's a great opportunity for business students to be involved, but maybe something that the community doesn't really know that the Music Boosters is involved in that. So involved with helping buy all of the food and supplies for that stand, and then figuring out the monetary end of it with the other partners in the school.
Right, questions for Sarah? Thank you very much, we really appreciate it. Who'd like to go next? Don't everyone jump up at once. Michelle.
I'm Rochelle Siccione. I'm with the junior high SCA. I'm the chairperson for that group. We don't really have formal officer groups in that group. You know, as people get to that age in our kids' lives, we're juggling sports, we're juggling all the other activities, so that's kind of how we do. We do 2 fundraisers a year. One we do through local businesses, chocolate through Simply Sweet and Coffee Mania. The next one, which explains itself, the next one is a fundraiser. It started out as to have fun for the kids, to do Battle of the Books. Kids read 12 books. They form teams of 4 to 5 in that group, and they answer questions at a trivia night. It started out to be fun, but we've got local sponsors on board paying for the books. So now it raises us a little money, and next year we can raise more, because this is the 3rd year that the committee has put that on for this, and working with Mrs. Weeks in the library as well. So Amy and Anna do that for us as our chairpeople there. So that's our 2, how we make our money. We support the junior high in several ways. This year's fall festival, we were a part of helping with that, as well as volunteers go, and money to help that get started. And that was a bunch of clubs in the junior high forming that, and it was attended really well. Busy day with lots of kids there, so that was good. We just support other things like open house. We did Random Act of Kindness Day, where all the kids, post classes got a bag of candy, the teachers got donuts. We do shirts for the kids. You may have seen on the year 26 with all the kids' names in on 27. We did that. We'll continue to do that. So this year we're buying for the new students that didn't get them, and we did them for their 6th grade year, and letting kids that have outgrown their shirts buy new shirts as well. We'll continue to do that. We also do field trips. We help with them going to Janesville Beach, the JM Complex, all that at the end of the year. We support those as well. We were also given some art and music money for us to help spin that money up that we were given by a donor. So we've had a steel drum band at our barbecue. We've helped the kids go to ceramic field trips and shirts for their ceramic contest as well, to name a few of those things we did with that money. And then to the barbecue, we pay for the hot dogs, the chips, the water, all that. The thing we didn't realize would be such a hit is snow cones with 6, 7, and 8. We made over 1,000 snow cones last year in about 2.5 hours with about 5 volunteers. I hope those volunteers will come back next year, because it was crazy. Kids were just, we just expect that, because we do it for the elementary. They get one. These kids were just coming back and coming back. So they really like their snow cones if you need to know something to do for 6th graders. That kind of wraps up what we do.
Any questions for Michelle?
We appreciate all you guys do as board members, so thank you.
Thank you,
We need a
Michelle.
really good lunch for the staff, too.
Oh, I forgot about that. So we do, parents bring in crock pots, and we do a lunch for the staff at Christmas, and we also did Taco Tuesday last year, which was a big hit as well. We had walking tacos, soft tacos. And we try to do a couple of other little appreciation events for the staff, whether it be fruit or donuts or baked goods throughout the year as well.
Awesome, thank you. All right, who'd like to go next?
Hi, I'm John Hopfinger. I'm the president of the Homer Elementary PTO. We have two main fundraisers every year. Usually our fall fundraiser, which we've kind of changed. Yankee Candle used to be Yankee Candle. They quit doing it, so we went to a pizza one. And then this year we did Charleston Wrap. So we try to have a variety of different fall fundraisers. And our spring fundraiser is always our walkathon, which is our big fundraiser for the year, where we get corporate sponsorship and then family donations and everybody gets a shirt and has a nice afternoon. So, we also sponsor lots of events. We do beginning of the year for supply drop off. We give out ice cream or popsicles to anybody that's coming. So, and then we have movie night, usually in October. This year we did 2 movie nights. Since the first one was so successful, we did a Christmas one where we had, at the end, one of our family members dress up as Santa Claus, come out at the end of the movie and give pictures of the kids. So, and he also did one right before Easter break. We had some excess candy. So at lunch period, every lunch period, he dressed as the Easter Bunny and went around the kids, and we handed out candy, a couple pieces of candy to every kid at every lunch period. So we also started this year our new trunk or treat, which is our Halloween event in the parking lot. We had teachers and parents volunteer, design their cars and hand out candy, and we had a line almost past the post office from the elementary out to start it. So it was a big success for the first year. We usually do something for Winterfest. We haven't had anything for Winterfest past 3 years with COVID, but they contacted me when we were doing Winterfest in 2024. So we look to get back to doing that on Saturdays, and we sponsor the games and all the events in the elementary school. And families can come in and have fun. Hopefully the ice skating actually happen this year. The ice will be frozen, actually be snow this year for Winterfest. It's always dicey. Cabin Fever also came back this year with COVID, where we have a theme and 4 books usually. So we have teachers and staff members pick a book, read it to the kids. We have a craft to go along with it. So we had a nice event this year with the four staff members picking it was St. Patrick's Day, so we had St. Patrick's Day themed crafts and books this year. So also we did the first year of a family formal. It was Valentine's Day, so we had a family formal. First year we don't know what we've always talked about it for years, so we had it this year. We had a DJ and decorations and snacks, and we had nice parents to bring their children and have a little dance. It was nice to have. In a week and a half we have bingo. Thanks for Amy for starting bingo. We're going to it's grown to 2 days. So it's the Tuesday and Thursday of next week. We have bingo at the school. And then we do Staff Appreciation Week, which is the first week of May, which we do a different themed day for all the staff, to appreciate what they do for the school. So the bus drivers, maintenance, anyone that works for the elementary school. And then Book Fair will also, we sponsor that the same week. So, and the end of the day, and we have field days, which we sponsor with the snow cones and events at the school. So, with the fundraising money, we provide supplies for every student in the school at the beginning of the year. So pencils, whatever the teachers want to provide for their, instead of bringing a list to the parents, they bring to us and we purchase for them and distribute to the classrooms. So also provide mini grants for teachers. So if there's something they want in their classroom, help with education, from flexible seating to any thing to help their classroom, they can ask for a grant. We'll provide them and purchase for them. We do a monthly snack for students. So we have a supply of snacks, a list. Teachers will ask, we'll buy a monthly snack, and we have 2 parents come in and then distribute it through the school as a way of getting parents into the school again. And then we also purchase the yearbooks for every student. So, and then we do popcorn for staff every Wednesday. The staff has popcorn, and we help provide the popcorn for the staff. And this year 2 of our members made popcorn buckets, reusable popcorn buckets, so they can bring it to the office on Wednesdays and fill it up. So, and then we do a Thanksgiving drive for families, winter clothes donations, and anything the staff needs or students need, they can ask and provide. So,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you. Question for John? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And anybody, if anybody wants a sheet of what we do.
Yes, please. All right, who would like to go next?
I'll go next. I'm Melanie Woodward, and I'm here on behalf of the Intermediate School Community Association. We have a 12-member board. We do have a formal officer structure. Our mission statement is to enhance the school experience for Homer Intermediate students and staff, to make children's school experience a positive one, to promote a sense of community within the school by sponsoring projects that can help bring students, families, and staff together. Our budget structure, we have multiple fundraisers that are coordinated throughout the year. We try not to group too many of them together or spread them too far out, so we can continue to talk about fundraising money and bringing it in so that we can continue to do the programs. We expect to make around $17,500 this year. We spend the money on yearbooks for the students and staff. We have $3,000 plus a case at our Homer After School Enrichment Program. We've done a number of programs that we've brought in. Day of the Dead, pumpkin carving, library walk, paint night, macrame, fairy houses, ice skating, Ukrainian eggs, upcycling bike chains. That was a new and fun one. We had participation from about 70 students in the fall, 54 students in the winter, and 62 students in the spring, so it's fairly well attended. We provide money for teacher requests, field trips, end of year celebration, staff appreciation. In addition, we sponsor open house, STEAM night, HARP, and partner and host other family events during the year. How we communicate, Mrs. Falls sends out parent squares on our behalf. Thank you, Mrs. Falls. And the SEA has a Gmail account for agendas, minutes, and correspondences. And we also send out paper flyers. Sometimes the paper flyers cost more money, so we try to do the electronic things when we can. We also have a Facebook page that we post a lot of stuff on. So if you see something come up on the SEA Facebook page, if you could just share it, and that helps also. We have an annual book sale during the day for students and a family event in the evening. We earn Scholastic credit from the event and have used that to make purchases that we give to the student body, a free book, and work with the staff to donate books for the classrooms. We do a lot of fun things. We did a fun thing for each grade level this year. We did 5th grade families lasagna dinner, so that was a kind of a fun and different kind of event. 4th grade families went to the J.M. McDonald Center for a fun day there. We did ice skating and bounce houses and all the balls on the turf and that kind of thing, and had pizza, and that was fun. And then the 3rd grade families had a movie night at the school with the popcorn and all of that. All the families were invited to Lime Hollow for Family Day, and then all the HACE programs after school.
Great.
Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris Gay. I'm the president of the Homer Athletics Boosters Club. So what we do, other than hemorrhage money, is we try to support all these different athletic teams, kind of supplementing their budget. A lot of the different teams you've probably heard of: Friends of Wrestling, Friends of Football, Friends of Baseball, what have you. They can come to us, the coaches can come to us, ask for some money. We help depending on the situation. We've helped baseball, we've helped football, we've helped lacrosse, basketball. Any team that comes to us, if we can do it, we help them out as long as it's benefiting these student athletes. We're currently kind of in a reorganization phase, so that's why I joke that we're hemorrhaging for money. We're looking for ways to fundraise and bring money in so that we can support the student athletes. We do donate at the end of the year athletic awards that go out to student athletes. We also give to the prom committee. We are trying to act as a fiscal agent for all the various sports teams. So soccer would fundraise for themselves, but now soccer money will come in through Homer Boosters. It'll be tracked separately, but that way it's all, you know, transparent, it's done on the up and up. We're trying to bring other teams in. I know Coach Podsila's coming to our meeting this week to talk to us a little bit about football, possibly getting on board. One of the things we talk about going forward, we really want to look to support some of maybe the lesser known sports programs like cross country or golf, or you know, maybe the tennis, and reach out to these coaches and find out how we can help them, how we can support their athletes, so that you know, we develop this sense of pride among all, you know, the Homer athletes. And that's pretty much it.
Any questions for Chris?
Chris, one of the neat things about some of those fundraising programs, maybe under a single umbrella, would be to help reduce some of the redundancy, so that whatever the efforts are, it's not everybody's going out and selling umbrellas or something, but
Right.
I think that's kind of a neat concept.
Yeah, and we think it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a transition, because you know, if you're doing it on your own and you're bringing in 20,000, and now we say, hey, come and help us and bring in 25,000 and give us that extra 5, that's probably not the most appealing pitch. So we're trying to work through those details, and that's why we think some of the, you know, probably less known or, you know, less attended sports, you know, we think will be willing to come in and work with us, and you know, get T-shirts for those kids, help support a trip, you know, to up to Syracuse to watch their sport, or whatever it is they have in mind. We want to be there to support them, and then we hope to have them, you know, get back and support us as well, so that, you know, we can kind of spread the love. But yeah, I agree. If you know, if wrestling's selling chicken, football's selling chicken, and baseball's selling chicken, you buy 3 chickens, you buy 1 chicken, it's hard to choose.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
A lot of chickens.
I got kids, so I buy at
A
least.
lot of chickens, yeah. Thanks, Chris. Is there anybody else? We thought it was important to spend some time tonight and share some of those things, many of which you probably know, having been in the district. But in my estimation, the sign of a strong school community is input from a lot of different sources. And some of these are conventional, but others aren't. But they're all wonderful. And so we wanted to just spend a couple minutes tonight and invite these fine folks to come and share. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
So on behalf of the board, and on behalf of a mom of 4 kids that have been able to transition through and take advantage of all those activities, I really appreciate the time and effort and the thinking outside the box, and how far out you reach to bring these activities. And it's constantly changing. And you know, it takes a village. Building this sense of community in each of our buildings and throughout. You know, I really love the intermediate pitch about all your activities are family centered. So let's, as a family, go to Limehall. I mean, these are just fantastic thinking, and it allows us to know each other and care for each other and care for each other's children. So I really thank you for the extra above and beyond, all that time commitment that you put in, and I hope you know the value of that is multifold, and will just keep repeating itself. And through your leadership and what you're modeling, it's going to invite other people to participate. That we're a community that likes to play together. So I thank you for all that time and the energies and the thought processes. It's incredible. I feel blessed that we have those opportunities for our families and our children. Is that it for you, Superintendent?
Yes.
We're going to move on to our board presentation, which is student voice.
Yes, Janelle Hess, as you know, a student member of our board, has put in an incredible amount of time and effort to talk to our fellow students in the district and ask them a series of questions. And she's put a lot of time into this presentation as well. So I'll turn it over to Janelle and let her share with you what she learned through the process.
So I'll kind of start out here with the intermediate and the junior high. lab at the junior high, and they were pretty much given a sheet of questions where they were asked to complete as many questions as possible. When they were done, we pretty much came together as a group, and students were able to hear each other and what ideas they had. In the high school, we did it a little bit differently. We did a survey. So a survey was sent out to all the high school students through Student Square during homeroom. And then the responses were shut off, and we had collected 225 responses. So some things that worked well was having junior high and intermediate students answer questions on the paper and then come together as a group so they were all able to feed off one another. And then the format for the high school survey I think was really beneficial. We get a lot of feedback. So why those things worked well? If the students were not comfortable with sharing out loud, they were still able to participate and provide feedback by filling out the paper. And the format on the survey made it very beneficial for getting a lot of feedback, forcing students to think and not just answer based off of multiple choice question. Some things to change for next time. Do more multiple choice questions and still use the long responses so that students can share their thoughts more extensively. Use larger groups of students when it comes to junior high, and prove to work better with a medium-sized group because I met with 2 groups of students, and you'll see that here in the next slide. So for the intermediate school, those were the questions I asked them. A lot of it was pretty much based off of school culture and things that was keeping them engaged during the day, and really just asking things what they wanted to see and what they wanted to see changed. Students feel like there is a positive environment in intermediate school. They have an adult they can go to during the day, and they have really great teachers who help them with whatever they need. The students did express that they wish teachers would explain information in different ways since they can struggle at different times to comprehend the information. Students feel that they are most engaged when they're able to work in groups and be able to do things with their hands. For the junior high, as you can see, there is round 1 and round 2. So round 1, I met with 4 different students, and round 2, I met with 17. Like I said previously, I did find that meeting with that kind of in-between group was more beneficial because they were all able to feed off one another. Students feel like there is a positive school culture in the junior high. There isn't a lot of bullying, and they can know they can go to the counselors and get it handled the best way possible if there is. The students mentioned that they wish they had another free period during the day so they could get their work done and go see teachers as needed. They wish that they could have a quiet spot to go to at work and not get distracted by anyone around them. And overall, they feel like they have a great support system and great teachers and staff who will help them throughout the day as they need. So I got to go over to the junior high for about a half a day. And it was pretty great because I had all these teachers myself. So I went to go observe an art class with Mrs. Nels. So they were working on their portfolios and just doing different painting projects. And then I went to Mr. Hurwood's classroom. He's a great teacher as well. I had him. His classroom is great. He's a positive environment, and he really encouraged students to keep going. And I think we all can agree that math can be hard for some of us sometimes. So he's a great teacher for that. Next was English with Mrs. Palermo. I love her classroom. It's super inviting and super welcoming, and she's a great teacher. And something that I love that she did was, even if a student wasn't raising their hand, she went and asked that student anyway and helped guide them. And then I observed a work period with Mrs. Greenfield. That was really great for students. It was super beneficial, and it was that quiet environment that students could go and get their work done. So what's next? After talking to the students at the junior high, I realized I wasn't ready to be done working with those students just yet. I really wanted to be able to share my experience since coming to Homer all the way up to now being a high schooler and connect with these students. I'm working with Mrs. Schneider at the junior high to plan a half-a-day with students called Break the Clicks. This day will be about connecting with students, but also just helping these students get out of their comfort zones and learn more about one another. Alright, and now heading into the high school survey. So these were the questions that were asked from high school students. I primarily picked these questions because you can see the positive school culture being the first one. If there's not a positive environment, it can be really hard to learn. You can see that number 4 with classroom activities, and the other questions were pretty much primarily relating to the fact of what can teachers do to help students and what activities are helping them learn best so that we can keep doing those things. Alrighty, so for our student responders, we had 80 freshmen, 62 sophomore, 53 junior, and 29 senior. So as you can see, a large portion of our results came from the freshmen. However, I did reach out to the English teachers, and they were able to help me with the freshmen, so that is why a large portion of it was freshmen. but we still got a great range of data. So does Homer High School have a positive school culture? We had 202 responders. We had 55.9% say yes and 27.2% said no. And then we had a little bit of a mixture, so yes and no, and that was 16.8%. So some reasons why some people said yes, so covering that 55.9%, was we have good school spirit, we have blue pride. Students are always smiling and laughing in the hallways. Teachers give recognition to students, making it a positive environment. There are many opportunities to come together as a school and be around one another, so football games, dances, and other events outside of school. There's positive displays in the hallway and positive sticky notes on lockers. So some reasons why that 27.2% said no. Students look down on one another. There's a divide between students. There's a lack of understanding and acceptance. It doesn't feel like it's all-inclusive learning. There's bullying, there's racism, homophobia, there's no respect for one another, there's favoritism specifically around sports, and students and teachers create an unproductive environment. So here are some direct quotes from students. I really liked how in that last quote where they're talking about football and they're talking about recognition, I agree with them. I think that, we have great sports teams and we should be really proud of that, but there's also students who do work really hard and they deserve that recognition too. When it comes to the all-inclusive learning, that on the bottom left-hand corner is a perfect example. So maybe someone who follows a different faith or has a different viewpoint, maybe they feel a little excluded. That top one, talking about cliques and internal problems and our school culture, we can always improve on those things. So I think they did a good job speaking on that behalf. And then the last one up in the corner, talking about how they wish that the information was presented in different ways. We don't all learn the same way. So I think having teachers be mindful of that and trying to incorporate that into their lessons is really important. So this next one, do you feel like you have a teacher that you can go to during the day? We had 88.6% of students say yes and 11.4% say no. Now we're going to go into some issues and problems at the high school. 44 responders said that the bathroom doors being open was a problem. We had 31 say behaviors and bullying, 30 vaping, 22 with instructional practices, 6 with school culture and inclusion, 5 with lack of staff empathy, 5 for dress code, 5 for food quality, 5 for racism, then we have the other comps, so just a mixture of things, and then we have 4 for school environment. So the bathroom doors being open, that's not just our school. It's been due to bullying, it's been due to student behavior and vaping. When it comes to behaviors and bullying, you'll see that's a recurring theme that I did pull quotes from students. They do feel like that's an issue in our school. Vaping, we all know that it's an issue. We know that teenagers do it. We know that older people do it. However, the depth behind that, I think not everyone understands. And then 22 instructional practices. So that being that students wish that maybe things got mixed up every day instead of just sitting there taking notes. And we had 203 students respond on that one. So there are multiple issues going on with the school. I think the first thing that we need to do is stop slurs and discrimination against the students of different cultures. I will say this time and time again, there's no repercussions to these students. We don't talk about the negative things going on in the world, and we don't talk about the court cases that have negatively impacted most people in our school. We need vape detectors, and opening the bathroom doors will not stop kids smoking. The kids here will not stop because the door is being propped open. They will find ways around this. Again, not everyone learns the same way, so they want to see a variation. So those hands-on projects, that's how they're getting engaged the most. This was a big one, which was back to bullying and racism and just the student culture in general. Students are feeling like in that kind of area, we are struggling a little bit and it's hard. Again, back to bullying. Bullying doesn't get taken care of. Teachers and principals give students a slap on the wrist with maybe a suspension, but if a student is bad enough to bully, they wouldn't care about getting suspended. I had a student respond and tell me that they view suspension as a break. So it really depends on the situation. The bathroom doors being open. Again, it's not just from vaping, which most students think it is, but it's not. It's a lot to do with the behavior and issues that have gone in there. A lot of students have hard times paying attention to teachers who just lecture the whole time. So again, getting that variation in there, not just doing notes the whole time. Behavior of other students affecting my life and the classroom, so not being able to focus because of distracting behaviors around that person. I think the biggest problem is vaping, and it needs to be stopped. How some teachers act towards students. I don't think leaving the bathroom doors open so kids it's not gonna stop them, they're still gonna find a way to do things. I wanna go back to how some teachers act towards students. They feel like the teachers are just treating students like they're below them. Now that's obviously not the case for every teacher and student relationship, but that is what some did express. Alright, now we're gonna go into classroom activities. So we have 68 people who said hands-on activities help them learn the best. We have 35 with group work, 32 with games, 21 with discussion and interactive activities, 18 with self-paced work, and then 17 with notes and study guides, and 10 with videos. So with that hands-on activities, that's what's helping these students get engaged. You know, we saw that in the intermediate, we saw that in the junior high, and now we're seeing that direct result in the high school, that that's what's keeping them engaged. That links correspondingly to group work, working with your peers, being able to figure out solutions together. That 32 with games, so whether that be Quizlet, whether that be Jeopardy, teachers have come up with games on their own, and we're working together in groups to do that. And then that 18 saying independent and self-paced work. So being able to work by yourself, being able to figure out those problems by yourself. That's what they express that they would like. And then notes and study guides. I'm not trying to banish notes. Notes are great, but I think just mixing it up every once in a while, that would help solve a lot of problems. And then 10 for videos. So maybe you didn't understand what the teacher was saying, you have that video to back it up and explain it even more. So today I did a pretty hard activity in science where I'd use algebra, stuff I learned throughout the year, trial and error, logic to solve a problem. Many of my classmates hated it because it was hard. We are trained to not like hard things, but for me it was only one of the fun parts of the day. Again, those interactive activities, not just writing down notes, hands-on, not having a teacher talk to you the whole time. I would like to say group work because it's always more fun and there's more ideas. So again, being able to feed and learn off of one another. Science, being able to do labs and get those hands-on activities. I'm usually bored in class because everything seems so useless and we're focused on cramming as much information in our heads as possible, rather than teaching us skills of problem solving and understanding. Then we are asked to regurgitate these facts, which we could have just looked up and given a number grade based on that. This is the number that causes so much stress for me and my friends. The student's definitely not alone. I feel like we all get stressed out by our grades at times, and it really is given so much value. So I think teachers should really have a talk with their students and not make that the defining factor for every assignment that they do. So now vaping. We had 74.7% say yes, vaping is an issue at the high school. We had 19.4 say no, and we had 5.9 say maybe, yes it is, no it's not. We had 253 total responses. I think vaping is a very large problem in our school, but I don't know if drugs are as much of a problem. I think one way of handling it is harsher punishment and community service if caught. Yes, the bathroom doors being open has improved the problem a lot, but it's still a problem. I knew that it was, however, as late I hear little chatter about them from my fellow classmates who often seem to not even care for the consequences and often express that they view suspension as a break. I haven't the slightest as to what may appropriately handle the situation further. Yes, it is a problem, but I don't have a solution. The bathroom doors being open may be helpful, but kind of make others just trying to use the bathroom uncomfortable. So both ways, we heard both ways, and both are valid. What would enhance your learning in class? So again, those interactive activities, you can see the 50 students saying that. 19 per break. So students wish there was like a 5-minute, almost like brain break, and just being able to, whether that be asking a teacher a question or being able to catch up with a friend, or just continue working on their work and have a break as working together as a class if they're doing that. 16 with hands-on activities. That's what's helping them stay engaged. 13 expressed they wish they had a different schedule. So maybe having a block schedule or just having shorter class periods, they also expressed that as well. 11, teacher positivity. I can tell you firsthand, having a teacher who comes in the room with a positive attitude makes it much better than a teacher who comes in the room just giving you a note sheet and telling you to complete it by the end of the class. 10 for school environment. So having that positive environment, having good friends to be around, having good teachers to be around, walking past staff, them encouraging you. All those things are really helpful for students. 9, again, with the pacing of the classes in the day, so that goes hand in hand with a different schedule. 8 for extra help after school. This was a common one. Even though there was only 8 responses after, I heard a lot about it in the hallways. I've heard it from fellow peers. They really want that one-on-one time with teachers to be able to work with them, because in homeroom, we often get preoccupied with whatever we have going on, whether that be clubs or other meetings. Extra help after school again. 8, listening to music. A lot of students express that they want to be able to listen to music that just helps them focus better. 6, said less homework. I think we'd all like that as students sometimes. Then food in class, clear expectations, and range of activities within the class. So what can help students learning? Time outside for class. I seem to focus better when I have some background music to listen to. I wish I could listen to music during my classes. Have teachers make their lessons more unique, so not just doing the same thing every day. It can get repetitive if you're doing that class for 40 weeks and it's all just notes-based. More student and teacher check-ins, not with just students who are struggling, all students. I think this is so important to have that teacher and student relationship, to always have that teacher that you can go to. Shorter class periods, so that goes hand in hand with that schedule. Midday announcements for things going on in the school. More breaks throughout the day, or just a few minutes throughout the class periods. So again, even if it's just a 5-minute break, so that if you're taking notes the whole time, you can have that break. Less digital work, so being on paper. More time in homeroom and breaks during the day, and possibly a student lounge for kids with good grades. Extra help and tutoring available more. A place for students who have group projects to work after school with a teacher available if they need help. Alright, so what can teachers do to help keep students on track and engaged? We have 85 for mixed instructional practices, so not just doing the same thing every day. Check-in, one-on-one, and small group. That was 36 people said something about having that student and teacher relationship. It really is so important. It makes a whole difference in that student's day if that teacher takes 2 seconds to check in with those students. We have 30 for have more empathy, so just understanding. Maybe that kid walks in and they didn't do their homework. So not just getting mad at them right away for not doing the assignment, but understand why they're not getting their assignments done and trying to help them with that. Less time and time to finish homework in class. No cell phones in class because it's just distracting. Less computer work breaks throughout the day. Listen to music and more independent work, and add grades sooner. And we had 232 kids respond on that one. We don't encourage balance. Grades are every teacher's priority, it seems like. Not everyone learns the same way, and some people struggle when they just take notes, and that's the only method of learning. Let students find a problem their own way in math and science, giving them the tools, methods, and skills when needed. In social studies and history, focus on having students understand topics and generate their own opinions on it. Instead of memorizing useless facts they will forget in 2 weeks. This, I think, would also result in an increased tolerance of people's differences and overall kindness and understanding. For English, don't have students receive grades strictly based on a single teacher's opinions. Writing should be treated as an art. All of my English teachers have graded essays based on their own bias and preferences, but the truth is all people are different and write differently. I think teachers should communicate more so we don't have 5 tests on the same day or 5 long-term projects all on the same day. I couldn't agree more. There's nothing more frustrating than coming in and having 4 tests on one day and having to memorize that. And you know you could do better on that test, but you just had 3 other tests that you had to study for the period before. Overall, I think most teachers throughout the school make class very engaging and helpful. However, I feel like some teachers could go over certain topics more and go over homework and tests more often so that students understand what they did wrong. Quieter environment and less homework-based schoolwork. I would prefer if my teachers wouldn't sit there and just talk at me the whole entire period. Give me a brief but a detailed explanation so they know what to do. Well, I do go in to get help in class, but I feel like even when I make an appointment with a teacher, it is often taken up by another student needing help the whole time. I feel like I can't improve my grade if this is happening. I lose confidence in myself and my grades tend to decrease. I've always wanted a tutor, but that option isn't talked about a lot. I know there is other students that need help, but maybe more options on ways to help students learn. So again, that one-on-one time with teachers is really what these kids want. My favorite teachers take the time to try and understand how a student could be seeing a topic differently than they do, or how they could be struggling to grasp it. We have a few teachers in the school that are so well versed in their fields that it seems that they have forgotten what it's like to be just starting out, still learning and having a more difficult time with their subject. Therefore, they find it almost impossible to explain a concept more than in one way because it makes it perfect sense to them the first time. This can make the experience incredibly frustrating for a student and discourage the student's further engagement in the course and its material. I would much rather a teacher reinforce the basics in multiple different ways over and over again and be able to gain a full comprehension of the topic because of this extensive and varied repetition than to have a teacher plow ahead in the coursework without reviewing something that they consider simple or without taking the time to value that different students' minds work and process things in different ways. Now I'll take questions, comments, or feedback.
Janelle, holy Hannah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Wow. I think, you know, I've said this before, for people to appreciate, you carry a full course load and have made yourself available to students across the district and seem really impassioned by that. And there's not filters when kids want to sit down and talk to you and share what their experiences are. So you've got the clear vision of this is how this child is perceiving what we think we're presenting or what we think we're establishing in the community. That's incredible, eye-opening, incredible. Thank you.
One of the things that Janelle and I have been talking about is, you know, whenever you're asking people questions, if you're going to do that, you have to be ready for what they say. And now the value for us is that we make sure that we do a good job of sharing it with the students to tell them what they said because they haven't seen everybody's, but also for our staff. Because while there are a lot of wonderful things that the kids have given us feedback on that we're doing great, there are a lot of things in there that we can improve on and we can really digest and say, what validity does this have and what are the action steps for us to make some change in our interactions with kids. So again, I feel good that one, Janelle has really jumped in with both feet and taken this on and taken it seriously, so thank you for that. But it says a lot about our district, I think, that we're comfortable enough to recognize that we have areas to improve and we're going to continue to find out what they are and try to improve on them. So again, thank you for the time that you put into it. And again, as you mentioned, you learned some things as we went through this process, so we'll continue to fine tune as we go.
I think it took an immense amount of courage to give that presentation. I don't know very many adults that would be comfortable saying what you said, quite honestly. And you did a wonderful job. You should be incredibly proud of yourself.
Thank you.
For giving us valuable feedback, how uncomfortable as it may have been.
Your addition to this board is what you just proved.
Invaluable.
Pretty powerful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope we have a strategic plan to analyze this data, identify weaknesses, and then continue to gather data year over year or semester over semester, or whatever makes sense.
Yeah, this is really just
see where the patterns are and where the changes can be made. Yeah.
It's so rare to get that kind of honesty, right? Because it's courageous for the kids to make a comment, right? And for Janelle to bring it.
You know, what struck me is none of it was off-putting. It's just here's what the problem is. We see the problem, and what can we do to solve it? It's not like Homer's a horrible place and it's burning down. Here's some things that maybe not everybody's aware of, or to the extent that it's existing, and it seems like it's really forward thinking. There are things we can absolutely tackle. Right? Nobody needs to be defensive of, yeah, I do give a lot of notes, okay, and they're looking for something else, right? There's nothing offensive in that. It's eye-opening. These are things, you know, I'm kind of energized about, you know, what things we can put in place to make kids know they were heard. because they see a change, or they see effort to change. More importantly, we involve them in the change, right? I don't want to give you my problem, I want to be a part of the solution. I think if we tried this, maybe it would, or I have no idea how to tackle vaping, right? There's so, wow. And I'm energized by that, and will high school and the junior high, will
Yes,
the teachers get it?
Both staff and students.
So more missed class time for you. Incredible, that's an incredible amount of work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, I want to appreciate Janelle's work and all of that. I also want to give an appreciation to the parents. I know mom and dad are sitting back there, so I hope mom and dad, you're very proud. She's been a gift to us on the board and a gift to the school, so thank you for sharing her with us.
Thank you.
And one thing that I do want to note is that she also works outside of school, right? Yeah.
And you're a junior.
Yeah.
So it's one of the, that is my superintendent opinion, that is the most difficult year. And the time commitment and, you know, she's doing the same reading that we're all doing and prepping for these meetings and additional connecting with students and faculty throughout the district. I didn't realize you also work. It's incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now I guess we can move on to the boring district budget kind of.
Yes, so as part.
Also inspirational, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I was going to ask Janelle to present this.
So as part of.
glazed over when she was
So as part of our budget development process, as you know, we had a budget workshop session last week and discussed where our planning was as it related to the development of the various propositions that will make up the 23-24 district budget. And we have 4 propositions that we're asking you to approve tonight. Michael, do you want to run through them?
Certainly. So our first proposition that we'll put forward has to deal with our budget proposal going out at $47 million. Bear with me here because for whatever reason my computer's not working. Our second proposition going out, looking at the leasing of 7 regular buses and 1 wheelchair bus. So in that, you're looking at a proposal to spend no more than $1.1 million on a 5-year lease for those 8 buses. Along with that, you're looking at the purchase of 3 vans, not to exceed $150,000. The next proposition on the budget is that we are looking for public approval to create an official seat on the board for a student. And looking at that, they be an ex officio member, currently what Janelle is doing now, a non-voting member of the board. And the final approval is for the Phillips Free Library, again, as part of being good neighbors and New York State asking us to do so. That Phillips Free Library is looking to increase their budget roughly around $3,000 moving into next year. And again, they're underneath the tax cap that they have to stay under in order to increase those monies. So again, those are the 4 propositions that we would be voting on. Any questions?
I see we weren't lucky enough for the state to pass a budget that was due 17 days ago with another 3-day extender, so.
Yeah.
But we are obligated to take action this week, so.
Correct.
We're
And what they're saying
doing
is
the best
that
we can.
what they're discussing won't affect the school aid runs to the negative at this point.
Thank you.
So I think we're looking for a motion to approve the 23-24 district budget.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I could please have a motion to approve the warrants and claims auditors report?
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? You have an investment summary and a budget status report for your information. If I could please have a motion to accept the Committee on Preschool Special Education.
Second.
Questions or comments on those reports?
You're such a creep.
She's saying it's weird.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion to approve the reports from the Committee on Special Education.
So moved.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The reason for our meeting on a Monday, if I could please have a motion to approve the OCM BOCES administrative budget and the election of board members.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? A motion to approve the First National Bank of Dryden donation.
Second.
Questions or comments?
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? A motion to approve the next donation.
It's a tongue twister.
NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR, which is where I would go.
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments?
How do you pronounce that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion to approve the jeweler's donation.
So moved.
Questions or comments?
Do they do that every year? They just started last year, I think.
I think last year.
And I
I'm
think
not sure.
I
Mr.
think-
Van Anden?
They have not done this multiple times, this is something that they've started.
Yeah, very nice though.
It's great.
Yeah.
Additional questions or comments?
Very, very appreciated.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? A motion to approve the disposal of items.
So moved.
Second. Questions or comments?
Apparently Mr. Turk has broken his chair. Hopefully we'll get him a new one.
Actually, as Mrs. Yakimo, we even thought about having a ceremony, having it rolled out after, but we decided against it.
Struggling with letting it go, I'm not
Like
gonna lie.
a burial at sea kind of thing.
She is
Set it on
claiming,
fire and push it out.
but she is claiming that I broke it, which is not true. It's not true.
Ever since he sat in it.
Throughout the day.
Let's move on.
We don't want to do that.
Were there additional comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? If I could please have a motion to approve personnel.
So moved.
Questions or comments regarding personnel? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Informational items, Superintendent?
Yes, we have one fundraising update for you. From the junior high school, they will be doing a selling refreshments at the House Cup activities scheduled for June the 9th. That's it.
Thank you, Superintendent. Community voices, there are none signed up. Are there any community voices wishing to be heard this evening? Committee reports?
Nope.
Board member activities? I know y'all went to dinner.
We did. Yep, BOCES dinner on Thursday. Too many sporting events to list. And I can't remember the rest. So there's that.
Most of the students cook for you?
They did.
Fantastic.
It was impressive. It was impressive, the culinary skills that were displayed. It was really a wonderful event. I would encourage anybody that is able to or has the opportunity to attend. It was really wonderful.
And I think it also gave us an appreciation for all the time that you've donated, Luke, to being a rep on that board. Like, I wouldn't have been able to wrap my head around it unless I saw the video and the people that you were interacting with, and so I thank you for all of that.
It's an amazing operation they have going there. Yeah.
It really is. And the brilliance in one room is a lot of fun. And the food was good. Our ride was a good Uber. We were safe.
Ish.
weather's been awesome. And I think I've noticed a lot of our windows have been washed in the different buildings. I've been seeing people washing windows. I think that looks beautiful. So it's really nice to see everyone getting ready for spring and doing their due diligence to make us look good.
Amy has a thing for clean windows, just so everybody knows. I look at mine and I disappoint her every day.
I've also had the opportunity to be outside for some sporting events, for home events, as well as some baseball and softball activities out at the new facility. I was incredibly impressed with how, given what our weather circumstances were, how the softball field was prepped for us to be able to have a home event here. It was really well done. Informational, upcoming information regarding the upcoming events.
Yes, I'll note just one. You can see the lengthy list there. And again, just like talking earlier with the folks that support our kids, we have a number of opportunities for our kids to shine, and the staff that work with them are wonderful. But the one I did want to note was we are already planning for next year. If you can see the junior high orientation 5th grade parent night, that event is happening here on Wednesday night. And so the more things move forward, it just seems every year things get earlier and earlier in our attempts to help people better acclimate to what's next. And so that's an example of us at the junior high getting it done right now. So.
If I could please have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you, everyone.